The biggest challenge facing the country now following the allocation of monies through this budget is how that budget is managed. And like the previous speaker, I have serious doubts as to whether or not the state, all of its agents, have the wherewithal systems in place to give us value for money and efficient delivery. I'm going to give you one example of the school bus system. The school bus system has been debated at length here every single year since I was elected, but yet it has never been put out to tender. We deal with the complaints in a way that you put a band-aid on here, another band-aid there, and then some of the problems go away because people are busy with their own lives, but they carry the can of a bad school transport system. The system from Mullinavat to the Abbey in Waterford is one such route that needs to be looked at. I have asked the Minister, I know that Bus Éireann have been contacted, but those children are still not being connected for school. 40 families are affected by that. And yet in the budget, if my figure is right, €8 million extra has been allocated to Bus Éireann. So I'm asking the Minister this evening if he will undertake a root and branch overhaul of the school transport system to ensure that no child is left without transport to school, no child that deserves it. All children should be treated the same. And I'm asking him if he will to undertake that the school route from Mullinavat to Waterford is approved, and approved now rather than waiting for months and having umpteen different crosswords with ministers and so on in this House. I asked for a simple thing last year and the year before, that we would look at the marriage age exemption limit for the elderly to ensure that they were sufficiently enough outside of the tax bracket to keep what money they had, and to ensure that the budget decisions would not impact on them negatively. But that has not changed in this budget, and I'm disappointed about that. Also attached to that issue is the fact that if a partner dies, the remaining partner will actually pay more in tax on less money in the following year. And I refer particularly to those that have state pensions and work pensions. Section 42 report has to do with a lot of health officials at middle ranking level, and it was through the Labour Court and elsewhere. The government were told, I think it may be 10 years ago, to pay them the money that was owed. I asked a parliamentary question recently of the Department of Health, and they said that they couldn't tell me if they had €42 million set aside to pay former employees and existing employees that were dealt with under this report. But yet under FOI it was found out that there is 42 million, and the person that's actually holding up the payment is the most expensive Secretary General in any department. So I would ask you, where is the fairness in that? I want to see them paid, and I want the issue dealt with. We allocated a huge amount of money to the fuel scheme, and I can tell you that the coal merchants, before budget was announced, were telling us that in most cases, in the different areas, different counties, that people were now ordering their coal online from Northern Ireland. It was coming in, packed in unmarked bags and being delivered under the noses of the revenue and under the noses of the officials from every single county council. And those fuel merchants are asking for fair play. They're asking for revenue and for the officials already employed, supposedly this is part of their work, to put a stop to the illegal ordering of coal and delivery of coal products to the south from Northern Ireland. It is something that has to be dealt with. I want to turn to health and to agree with colleagues that said previously that the health budget is a fiction. It needs to be looked at, it needs to be debated in this House, and it needs to be pulled apart. Because the first people to suffer, for example, are cancer patients who rely on voluntary community groups to give them support. We're told that all of their services, particularly Cushnore and Kilkenny, are now under threat of funding. I'm asking, where is all the money gone? Why is a group that is literally doing the work of the HSE not being funded to allow it to activate itself to its full potential? We talk about employing extra guards and extra members of the Defence Forces, all very welcome. But I would ask about the current employees of the state in the Guards and the Defence Forces. Why is it that we can't put in place a salary, a wage that is attractive for them, to keep them in their places, and to give them the proper pay and conditions? And I would suggest that in all of this, it is the inefficiency of the state and the lack of understanding of what needs to be done. I would say to you in relation to the cost of living, the measures are to be welcomed. But then when you look at what's happening in terms of pensioners or those that are paying differential rent, your income goes up, your social welfare benefit, and the next thing is your rent goes up as well. We have to look at disregards, to disregard various incomes, particularly from social welfare, to give people a chance. And we need to ensure that they're not calculated in the context of differential rent. My last plea is to ask for every county council to immediately be examined to see how much funding they require to deal with the flooding issues in their county. And I'm asking the Minister to ensure that money is allocated in Carlow Kilkenny to deal with all of the flood issues that we have seen over the last few days.